So I bought this house 1 year ago on the night where I signed the OTP. After that, we had a lengthy time to hand over, followed by a renovation that took 4 months, and then we finally moved in. So we have now lived for 4 full months here, so enough for me to tell you my likes and dislikes of this penthouse. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything about this penthouse, the renovation, and some of the good buys. So we bought a lot of stuff from Taobao, over 30 items, spending over $8,000. There's so much details on the price, on the hardship to assemble. So I'll do a part 2 video. If not, this video is going to run over 20 minutes. Unlike YouTube influencers, first, I don't get paid. Second, I wouldn't recommend premium brands such as Sol Luminaire, which has been recommended multiple times by Reno King, which I checked out the place and it is really expensive. I'm going to tell you more about it when I talk about lightings. They also recommend brands like Line 8 and MC2. So the thing is that, to me, Taobao is at like 1/4 of the price of all those premium brands. And so most of my furniture, I already get it just from Taobao. With that, let's start the tour. Okay, so let's start from the beginning, from the entrance. In total, we spent about $80,000. A breakdown is that $50,000 is spent on renovation, and then another $15,000 on furnitures, and another $15,000 on awning and invisible grill. The bulk of the cost release is in the carpentry works. So I'll show you each as we walk around. First, let's look at the staircase TV console, which is a pretty good design with this irregular column spacing, yet you can see through the staircase. So the original has a railing for the staircase. So this took the ID and us a while to finalize this design, which we liked. Anyway, I do recommend the ID that we engage. The contact will be in the description below. A good thing about him is that he's a real designer and he draw all the 3D design himself, which is rare. For the dining side, I have a bar counter here. In the original layout, the fridge is not facing here. The fridge is actually in the kitchen. But then we knock out the wall and then we have it designed such that the whole cabinets will encapsulate this fridge in the right size. And along with that, guess what is this? It is the DB box. It's actually behind, you can't see. I'm not going to take this down, but basically it provides a lot of space to put all this stuff. For our dining table, chairs, and bench is all from Taobao. The sofa set and the coffee tables are also from Taobao. One thing that we like is this dining light. It's like in the shape of the Great Wall of China. And most of the switch that we use in the house, this is Livolo switch. Actually, we bought it from Lazada before they took down the stores. All these switch, they are by touch and they are not smart switch, but they can be controlled by remotes. I don't need smart switch, I don't need to control it from my mobile app. I just need a remote control. Just show you, I'm going to switch on all the lights in the dining area and the living area. Okay, one by one, I'll show you. 1, 2, 3, I'll show you. 4 should be around here, let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, ta-da. And then we have all the lights on. I'll press this sleep button, I hold it, and it will switch off all the lights all at once, and now everything is off. Electricians don't like the switch that we buy. Yes, there are some issues because these are not the switch they are familiar with. I can talk a lot about this. I'm not going to cover everything, but I do learn. I can tell you, don't be afraid to use this kind of switch. Next thing I want to talk about is lighting. See the LED for my false ceiling, all this rectangular one. So one thing about this is that I was inspired by Sol Luminaire, which is a very premium brand. But I'm very disappointed because Sol Luminaire actually is a very small place. We went there, I have to thank that specialist who spent 1 hour with us. Thank you. But at the end of the day, they are way too expensive and the selection is not a lot. I was actually very disappointed when they say that the tour has ended. It's just like 2 rooms of lights. My one getaway is that I was inspired by this rectangular shaped LED light. There are 5 bulbs in one of them. I searched in Taobao and I found the same thing, but at like, what, 1/4 of the price. Let's take a look at the kitchen, which we actually never do much. We just change the tabletop. This can be changed. And what else? We changed the tiles for the service yard area. And then there is this folding bed here. Okay, I'm going to slide it out slightly out. Okay, so there's a bed here for helper. We also have a dishwasher here, which is quite useful. Let's take a quick look at the storeroom. I just want to show you the rack that we have. This rack is also assembled by myself, and we bought it from Taobao at just $100 for 2 racks. It's of a lighter material, but it's okay. As long as there's no earthquake, I'm sure it's fine. Let's look at the kids' room. It has the most elaborated carpentry. Ready? Ta-da! This is probably our most expensive room with quite a few design revisions. And then to balance aesthetic and cost, we have to remove a lot of details from this bunk bed, but we still keep all those storage everywhere. And one interesting feature here, guess what? Ta-da! Is that we have a Harry Potter room under the staircase. So children love such space, and one person could even sleep here, but no one slept here yet. Now let me show you my parents' ensuite. They have the largest balcony, and so we have this relaxed corner. So you can see Malaysia, the Pasir Gudang industrial area over there, and this is Ahmad Ibrahim's secondary school, Chong Pang, and a camp over there. So we have quite nice view. Can even see, oh, something burning over there. You can even see CBD and the Singapore Flyer. I will show you more when we are on the rooftop. This is a very relaxing corner. This rocking chair with this leg rest and the table plus another chair, in total they cost $200. So we have 2 balconies, one here and the other one at the living room. And in total we spent $2,400. But I'm not going to recommend this company that we use. It's called Space Home and Living, and they are terrible. After they installed, one of the blind, which is one of it, is this very long one, it dropped down. And I called them to come down and fix. They just did not come down. They was yes, 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 and they never come down. Compared to like MC2 they give 5-year warranty, and they are a very big company. They will come down and fix for you. So maybe that is justifiable, especially if you want to enclose your balcony. Let's take a look at the toilets. For the toilet set, we bought 3 sets all from Taobao. So as the carpentry, they will charge a labor cost to install for you. One thing is that our plumber wasn't very good, because they charge us a lot of additional stuff for things that we thought will be free. For example, these hooks. For every hook that they install, they charge $10. That's to me ridiculous. I could have installed it myself. So one tip is that don't assume the plumber cost. There will be additional charges, so ask. Now let's go up. One of the biggest problems is that water will leak in the wall, and I'm going to show you the biggest defect that we have for the house. Look at all these cracks. We have actually painted this multiple times, applied many different kind of paint and stuff, but it will still turn moldy like this. The leak source is actually, we believe, is actually exterior. So there's nothing yet that we can do. They have to fix the outside so that the water don't seep in. So our plan is ready to cover up all this stretch, right, with paintings. Speaking of painting, in the living room, there are 3 paintings that were painted by us. We bought it for $40 from Taobao, which I think is a priceless piece of art and a very good activity for the kids. Now let me show you something gorgeous, which is this Wang bookshelf. I was actually inspired by when I was watching the Sheng Siong boss. Let's take a look now at my study room. So these 2 study tables cost $180 only. They are from Taobao, and they are standing table but with manual cranking. So, but it takes no more than a minute to get it to a height for standing. Lastly, let's take a look at the master bedroom. Biggest renovation for it is the cabinets and the storage bed. We try to optimize as much as possible. We also changed the walk-in wardrobe because the original one is a blue that doesn't suit ours. And finally, let's take a look at the rooftop. So we laid the decking and grass. In total, they cost $450 from Taobao. And I'll say that they significantly enhance the view, and you can even walk bare feet here. My mom has been growing papaya, pandan. I think we can grow quite a lot of things. I've been trying to grow sweet potato here. Hopefully, we'll have something to eat in a few months' time. The 4 trees here and these 2 are chiku. They are left behind by the previous owner. I do thank the previous owner for leaving behind a lot of wonderful stuff, including the beautiful koi fish. This is a very wonderful setup because it automatically replaces the water when it rains by draining it outside. A rooftop collects lots of rainwater, and we use the water, as you can see here, for watering the plants, for washing the floor, and also washing our car. But sometimes it gets very scary when it rains. It kind of is like a waterfall, especially at this awning side where all the waters fall down. Speaking of awning, we actually built this awning. This is one of the longest pieces. There are some other pieces at our other balconies. So in total, they cost $10,000. But I think it's worth it. I do recommend the contractor. The company is Uni Shades, and the guy, I think the boss, his name is Bob. And this is our washing machine. We do our washing here. We have another fish tank with the smaller fishes. This is a slide and some of the toys. The kids love to play with water. There's one other thing here. You can have barbecue here with real charcoal. So this is basically a BBQ and teppanyaki table. It's now a favorite when we invite friends over. And lastly, let's talk about the views. This view is actually pretty good. I actually couldn't believe it when I see the fireworks during NDP. And now with this telescope, you can actually see Singapore Flyer and also the Raffles Place buildings. And in the recent mid-autumn, we also use it to see the full moon, but no, we didn't see Chang'e and the Jade Rabbit. Another kind of issue that I have now is that people will label me as rich. Even my close friend will throw a, "You are rich lah, look at where you stay." I once asked on Facebook how I can replace my high ceiling lighting, and someone commented this. I wouldn't say I am poor, but I'm not crazy rich either. Just look at all the Taobao stuff that I bought. Anyway, I will have a part 2, especially for all these Taobao good buys, so stay tuned.